Let's talk about the newest collection from Dieverune Cosmetics, and it is extra special because it's a collaboration with Andromeda. I will link their Instagram below because you absolutely have to check them out. They have some of the most cool and creative and beautiful, colorful, but also grungy makeup that is out there. Really inspiring looks. Definitely check out Andromeda. Huge congratulations on this collaboration. Let's get into the pieces. There's a couple of different parts. So first up, we have a wet liner, which has 4 pieces to it. It's kind of like a grungy olivey yellowy green, and then we have a dark green, a dark gray, and then a bright green. Also a highlighter called Opal, and it is so dimensional. It's kind of like a tie-dye shade, and it is really wet looking, super shiny without being really glittery, and it is just so magical. And I will be showing you swatches of everything and detail swatches of the shimmers as well. One single shadow, it is called Garnet, and it is what I have on my lids in this look. This is a beautiful metallic. It's a little bit more of a burgundy kind of red, and it has silver sparkles throughout it, and it can be actually sheared out. And then there is a little quad called the Somber Soils, and these are 4 satin shimmers, and these will pair really well with the larger palette and also for layering. And then the bigger palette is called Magnetic Mineralia, and the bigger palette is called Magnetic Mineralia. How many takes did that take for me to pronounce this word? For some reason, it is a tongue twister for me. And this beautiful artwork is done by Andromeda's tattoo artist. So I love the vibes, and I love that the inside color story does match the outside color story. And so here's what the inside looks like. It is so grungy and so beautiful. I love this color story. I don't think I've seen a color story like this. I just love the pop of these two, like one olivey tone shade and then one more neon shade with the plums and then some cooler tones. I think it's really nicely balanced with mid-tones, lighter tones, and then a deepening up shade right here, which goes really well with all the mattes in here. And then of course we have some beautiful shimmers. There's an iridescent, there's a super high shine metallic, which is what I'm wearing on the inner corner. Then we have like a duochrome, multi-chrome, and then these 2 shades at the top, which are really shifty. And I did receive the collection in PR, and I'm friends with the owner and also the collaborators, so there's no way for me to be unbiased here, but I'm still going to be giving you straight facts. What are the finishes in here? How do the mattes blend, etc. At the time you're seeing this, this collection has already launched, and here are the details. The Somber Soils quad is $20 USD. The Meteor wet liner is $9. The single shadow Garnet is $14, and then the Opal highlighter is $24, and then the large palette is $66. I feel really inspired by this, and I had to do 3 looks, so I'm going to be showing you detail swatches of all the shimmer shadows, the highlighter, the satins, and then I'm going to be showing you 3 looks, this one being the 3rd look, and then I'll give you some of my thoughts at the end of the video. First up are the Somber Soils, and these are all satin shades. So here is the red. It's almost reading a little bit orange. And then a silver, a very light silver, a charcoal, and a green. I feel like this one has a little bit of dimension to it. It's almost just like a little bit brighter, and then it's a little bit darker on an angle. Here is the Opal highlighter. It has a bunch of different flecks throughout it. It's kind of mixed together. And here's what it looks like. It's super smooth, but still really shiny. So beautiful. I don't really see any larger particles in it, so I don't think this is going to look glittery on the cheek. I think this is going to give you a very wet look. I predominantly see pink and green sparkles throughout it. First 2 shades of the palette, they do not have names. They have labels MM1, 2, 3, 4. So this is MM3 and MM5. And I feel like there's a ever so slight difference between them in terms of texture. This one looks just a little bit flaky in the pan, but it picks up silky smooth. I'm swatching these 2 at a time. Love this one. It definitely can be more of a topper shade, and love the tone of this one as well. It's a little bit more of like a gray with some pink flecks throughout it, while the top shade is a pink with a little bit of peach, and it shifts yellow to green. I'm going to add another layer to both. So you can see it is so shiny. Oh my goodness. And then this one can be a little bit darker as well. She definitely has pink and green in there as well, but it's mostly kind of like a charcoal. And here it is close up. I feel like this is such a perfect Halloween shade. I don't know, for some reason, it just immediately was like, oh, Halloween. Next 2 shades, these are in the middle row. Slight textural difference between them. This one has a little bit more of a larger particle size and it picks up a little bit heavier, and this one feels a little bit thicker to the touch, and they are just so ultra sparkly. You might be able to sheer these out, but they do definitely come off pretty opaque. Oh, that's so beautiful. This is that warm tone reddish brown base with a bright green reflect, and the top shade shifts to purple. I see a little bit of blue sparkles in it as well. And then for the close-up, you can see it's definitely dimensional. And then this one almost has a little bit of silver flecks throughout it. And then the last two shades, which are in the bottom row, you can see slight textural difference between them. This one is a very smooth particle size, a little bit less sparkly, but still has sparkles in it. And then this one definitely is a little bit more of a larger particle size, but just a little bit more super, super glittery without being glitter. So this one's more of a topper shade. I do see a little bit of blue in there, but it's definitely very icy. And then this one is just, I mean, oh my gosh. It looks almost to me like it has a little bit of a green, like it's silver. I feel like it has a little bit more of a charcoaly tone to it, and this shade does feel a little bit slicker compared to some of the other shades in this. And then here's the close-up, and then this is the single shadow garnet, and this one does feel squishy in the pan. Definitely feel like it's going to be pretty opaque. Oh yeah, a little bit goes a long way, and it has silver flecks throughout it. It is super, super dimensional, really beautiful shade, and super sparkly. Look like it has a little bit of a grayish base to it, which does make it just seem a little bit darker. I know exactly what I want to do. I really want to use this shade. I'm just going to take it out, MM5. It has a green shift that is very, very apparent. So I was thinking of doing like a lime green over here, the plum here, and then deepening up with the dark brown. So that way when it shifts, you can see the green. Picking up MM7, and I'm gonna pop that right onto the outer corner. I did prime with the Ulta Beauty eyeshadow primer, and I'm just gonna tapping this on because it is like a neon shadow, so it's very kind of thin. So I feel like this is definitely taking a little bit of kind of packing on to get it on here, but I'm really just trying to use this more so as like a wash out here. And then I'm going to use the lime green that's next to it. Oh, this one is pigmented and super, super bright. And it's going to go here. And then I'm just kind of smoothing it out and blending it out. Taking MM14, which is the second to last shade. This is actually, it's pretty much black. I don't know why it looked like it was more of like a dark brown. But it's actually more of a black little hair. So I'm just going to blend this very gently into the green. I'm going to re-intensify it, and I do have just a little bit of fallout. So I'm going to take a little bit more of that shade and just placing it down right up against my lash line. I don't want this to go out too much. I want to have the room to control it and blend it out. And that is exactly what I was envisioning. I do want to bring it up just a little bit up here. I'm going to take MM2, and I'm just going to be kind of packing it on. And then it's going to be kind of blending out at the same time. Now, do I want to deepen this up? No, I think I'm going to leave it just like that. I'm going to go back in with a little bit more of that lime green, just like right here, just to re-intensify, and then back in with the other blending brush that had the darker shade on it. Just want to make sure it's kind of smoothed out over here. Actually, this one will be really cool too, but no, I'm gonna do this one. This is the original I wanted to use. Putting down a little bit of the Shine On Shimmer Shadow Enhancer, and I'm just gonna apply it and then just kind of tap it out, make sure I don't have too much on. And I'm picking up MM5. And it's gonna go right in the center onto the outer corner, kind of on an angle. Want to make sure it leaves some space on the inner portion for the highlight. This is such a beautiful, it is so shifty. Like, I feel like every moment I move, there's different particles that are green, but there's also the purple particles. It's so shiny. And then on the inner corner, because my nails have gone a little too long, so I'm going to use this R107 What's Up Beauty brush, and I'm taking the iridescent shade, this one right here, which is kind of, it's a little bit silvery, and I'm going to mist it just with some water, and it's going to go right on this inner corner. And again, kind of swiping it up. And maybe re-intensify it back with this green. Not with the lightest green, but the other acid green, should I call it? Oh yeah, that's definitely much more green now. Really liking that. Here's the first finished look. For the second look, I think I want to do a halo eye with just like the plums, but then use the green, the dark green shimmer right in the center. I feel like that would be really, really cool. So I'm going to use MM4. And I'm just going to first blow that out on the outer corner. A little bit underneath my little lash line as well. I'm going to go back in. And then doing the same on the inner crease, on the inner lid rather. Just kind of really getting it in there. I'm leaving the center blank essentially. And then I'm gonna use the bottom cream-like shade. I'm just gonna go over the edges with that. I really like this tone. This is super interesting. I'm gonna go back in with just a little bit of that other shade, the first shade. But I mean, look at that blend. Oh my goodness. And then I'm taking MM1 and popping that directly on the lid. And I'm just gonna going in first to lay it down, and then I'm gonna work on blending it out. And then just again here, but just ever so tiny bit. And I could actually smoke this out even more with the dark shade that's pretty much black. I'm gonna go and just do a little bit down here as well. And then of course gotta connect the outer corner. And then I'm gonna take a really small kind of brush. This is from Beaute. I like to use this to do eyeshadow wings with. And I'm gonna take that super dark shade that's basically black, and I'm just gonna tap it right up against my lash line. And then just kind of keep tapping it. And then I'm just gonna do the same on the outer corner. Maybe just kind of smudge it a little bit. I'm gonna go back in with the brush and just kind of melt everything together. But I don't want that to go up too high. And then in the center, we're gonna go with the shimmer. And then taking the Shine On Shimmer Shadow Enhancer right in the center. And I'm gonna tap on it. And I think I'm just gonna use my finger. So I'm picking up this green shade. It's the first shade in the second row. And I feel like it's gonna be really interesting together with this look, because it's going to kind of contrast a little bit. And this shade is so beautiful. Okay, I love this. I love this, like to the point where the first thing I just thought was I can't wait to redo this look again. Like absolutely, this is a look I want to redo immediately. Immediately. Love it. And then of course I want to make sure I put this on the bottom lash line as well to just reflect it and finish off this halo eye. So I'm just going to put on a little bit of the Shine On again, and I'm just going to make sure it's down here. And then I'm using this Beaute brush with the green. Oh, I love this. I love this. I love this look so much. I don't think I'm going to take this off. Like, I just feel like I need to live in this look permanently. For the third look, I really wanted to do a smoky red silver look, and I'm going in with the bottom left shade, I believe number MM11, and I'm just gonna first lay this down, and I'm really going to keep this to kind of like a triangular shape. I want it to be winged out, but in like a super smoky wing kind of way, not so much a eyeshadow wing per se. So I'm just kind of trying to keep it outwards this way. I'm going to clean up and sharpen it up anyway on this eye underneath. So then I'm gonna take MM13 and I'm just gonna go over the edge. So at this point I've used almost all of the mattes actually. I think there's only one matte I haven't used. So I'm gonna take just a little bit more underneath my lower lash line. And I'm just gonna work it out even more. Again, really trying to keep it at a triangle. And then I'm taking MM14 and I'm just gonna pop it on the outer corner and really just packing this on. And I just want this to really blend out again into a triangular shape, keeping it super angled. I'm actually gonna pick up a little bit with this fluffy brush, and I'm just gonna be going back and forth and bringing it onto my lid, but I'm not really too worried about what that looks like because I'm gonna be putting the shimmer there anyway. And so just continuing to blend it out and kind of trying to follow a little bit of a wing shape here. So on this eye, I did go in with the first red satin shade from Somber Soils, and I kind of put it down right in the center where I was going to put the shimmer shadow. I'm not really sure if it was a necessary step, but I do want to make sure that I do it since I did it on the other eye. And I'm going to be going in with Garnet, and I did use a glitter primer, but I feel like the shade is pretty squishy. So I actually think I'm just gonna tap it on instead on this eye. I definitely feel like that's working a little bit better. And you can kind of share this one out. I feel like this color really matches the satin shade that's in the Somber Soils palette. And then going back into the large palette, I'm picking up the very last shade. Now this one is super, super metallic, and it does kind of pick up a little piecey, so you can definitely get this to be super sheer and just like a little bit of sparkle, but I do want to see it a little bit more than that. I'm going to be using some Fair & Pixie epoxy because it is a larger particle size, and I really want to make sure it sticks down, and of course tapping on it, making sure there's just not too much on there. And I'm going to wait just like a couple of seconds, and then I'm going to take that shade on this Spectrum brush, and I'm just gonna pop that on top. But you can kind of see that it can be very scattered, but it can also be super, super foiled. I feel like I'm already seeing creasing, unfortunately, with the Garnet shade. It is very squishy. And I was seeing creasing on the other side too, where I put down Fair & Pixie epoxy, so I probably have to, so I'm gonna have to take a tissue and just remove any extra binder. So I'm really just trying to bring this up onto this inner corner highlight. And here's the third finished look. Look at all that sparkle. Oh my gosh. I am seeing a little bit of creasing with the red. So definitely, I love how sparkly and smoky this is. Before I forget, I do want to mention what else I have on my face, specifically my blush, because I have been really, really enjoying this blush. And when I first bought this blush, I actually realized I bought the wrong shade, but I'm really glad that I decided to use it anyway because I really, really like it. And it is the Say Super Suede Radiant Blush Powder in Mia. It is so nice, so easy to apply. It blends so nicely. It has a little bit of a sheen, and I just really, really like it. I love the color on me. I love the finish on me, etc. And then on the lips, I'm wearing a Juicy. It's kind of like a, it's not a gloss, but it's not like a matte lipstick either. It's kind of got a little bit of glossiness to it, but I feel like if I wanted to blot it, I could make it a little less shiny. And it is the shade 755V. I'm not sure if they make this anymore because they do have like new collections coming out every couple of months or so, and I do believe that they sell out, and I don't believe that they're really meant to restock, but I really, really like this shade so much. It's a really beautiful burgundy, but it's got like a little bit of softness to it. So back to the collection, I don't really use a lot of wet liners, so I'm not going to be swatching this one. I'm going to be passing this one on. I do really like the curated colors in here, and I really feel like these go so, so well with the rest of this collection. It makes so much sense. Let's talk about this highlighter. It's a very, very shiny. If you don't want to be seen from space, then this is not for you. I'm more likely to use this on the lids for sure. I love the different colors it has in it, and I think this is going to look absolutely beautiful all over the lid. So I'm actually going to put it on, and just keeping in mind that I do have some blush on, but I kind of want to give you a view of this. I feel like it's not really glittery per se, because I feel like you can get a really wet look with this. I mean, just look at that. It is so, so beautiful. I think if you use your finger and you really kind of pushed it into the skin, it would look more wet versus this way. It does look just a little bit glistening, but I feel like it still looks pretty wet. So let's talk about the single shadow. I like that it's actually separate from the palette because I feel like it goes with the palette, but I do think it would look a little bit out of place if it was in the palette itself. You can definitely tap this out and have a really sheer wash, but you can also get it to be as opaque as it looks in the pan, keeping in mind that this is pretty squishy and emollient. So if you have hooded oily lids, such as myself, you will most likely experience some sort of creasing. It did start creasing on me pretty quickly, so I did take a tissue and just really press it in to remove any excess binder. So this should be better now. So I do want to try it out again now that I've done that to see if the creasing is any lesser, which it should be because I've done that with so many eyeshadows and it definitely does help a lot. Moving on to the Somber Soils quad of satins. So if you've been on my channel, I'm not the biggest fan of satin, and this is purely just a preference thing. You can also use these to layer other shadows over this. So you can kind of use like a green, and then you can layer maybe like a silvery shadow from the palette over it. If you have hooded lids, I would definitely recommend using a tacky primer after putting down the satin shade to hold on to these sparkly shades, because I do personally get fallout when I layer eyeshadows like that because the sparkly shade doesn't have anything to stick down to. Just like if I was to put a topper like shadow over a matte shadow, I just need something for it to adhere to because my lids rub together, and that just means that they're rubbing and things are falling, and then I end up with sparkles all over my face, and I don't mind that, but to an extent. Onto the Magnetic Mineralia palette. I swear I am pronouncing it correctly in my head, but then my mouth just doesn't want to cooperate. I don't know what it is, but as I said already, I love this color story. I think it's a very unique color story. I feel super, super inspired by it. That's why I did 3 looks. I just could not stop using it and wanting to use it. There's a little bit of everything I love to see in a palette. We have some sheer shadows, we have some sparkly shadows, some little extra sparkly shadows, some smoother shadows, some more opaque shadows, some sheer shadows, and I do really like the Dieverune Cosmetics matte formula already, so I had no issues with any of these mattes. These perform really, really nicely, and I used actually almost every shade except this one right here. So I only haven't used one matte shadow, and I used the rest of them and I had no issues whatsoever. And this is definitely a kind of formula that I will reach for in the morning when I'm getting ready to go to work and I need something reliable where I just know I'm going to get a really great blend really quickly. And I do recommend doing your eyes before your base because you might get some fallout with some of the more sparkly kinds of shades, because these 3 are definitely the most textured out of all of them, while these 3 are a bit more on the smooth side, and I love the shades so much. I mean, that second look is chef's kiss. I almost redid it, but I was like, no, I really want to do a 3rd look. But I do have the shade in my inner crease, and I've had this look on for about an hour at this point, and I don't see any creasing. So let me know in the comments below if you picked up anything from this collection. Are you putting anything on your wish list? And again, a huge congratulations on this beautiful collaboration to Andromeda and Dieverune Cosmetics. And if you like this kind of content, you love seeing up close swatches of shiny, shifty, sparkly eyeshadows and tutorials, then you can check out some of my other videos that are similar to this, which will be up on the screen. And thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you next time.